So this is going to be a follow-up video after the video that I posted on the modification of David B's InfoGlobe. And we have run into some issues that some of it is like a little bit, it's a little bit of this guy's fault, it's a little bit of this guy's fault, and it's some of my fault because I didn't do what I should be doing these wacky things. So first thing is I was following the guidelines of Andy's his tutorial on his page there, and for the infrared LED, he's got like use a resistor anywhere from 50 to 1 kilo ohm. Well, that's where I didn't do my homework and I should known better. So I put in a 50 ohm. Well, the thing is that little IR, it's a 1.2 volt LED. So a 50 ohm resistor is not enough voltage drop for its usage. So it's going to get a lot more than 1.2 volts, which is not going to make that LED very happy. So I did my homework because I should have known better and used the tools that I have here and figured out that yes, that was a 1.2 volt LED. So if you do the calculations, you can go online and go right onto an LED calculator to have 5 volts get dropped to 1.2 volts. So it's about 190 ohms. So the closest I got is a 220. So I have put a 220 resistor in, and this is one of my own globes that I've put this in. I have to have David's back to modify his because it's not going to work. And then the second issue is programming this contraption down here. So issues have arrived where he plugged this in and it will accept the code, but it's doing weird things. One, it's backfeeding through the system. So this thing is running at a low voltage rate, which is like 4.4 volts, and it's being backfed through the controller, through my buck converter, back into the system. So the system's getting like 4.4 volts instead of 9. So that's an issue. Not so much for the electronics, but it's an issue for the controller. So when you're trying to get this thing to do something, on the program of the Arduino IDE program, there's a feature on here called serial monitor, and it lets you know that the controller is doing something. So David was bashing his skull in trying to figure out why this is not doing anything, and I didn't know any better at the time because one, I'm not a coder and I don't know 100% about these things. So what was happening is that the system is backfeeding and it's not making the controller happy. So originally I thought maybe with the voltage trying to power the whole system, it may have blown the ESP chip on here, the microcontroller on here. So we spent a couple of days just going back and forth trying to problem solve this. And he couldn't get it to communicate with the computer and all that other good stuff. So I'm like, David, sever the wires. So I had him sever the power wires. He plugged it back in through the USB port, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So okay, that makes sense to me. I was trying myself. It's like, well, why is the system being backfed? And I figured, well, I put a buck converter in there. Let me check the buck converter. Buck converter doesn't have any diodes in it to prevent power from going in and out of it. You know, and it don't matter where you put the diodes, whether you put it in between this section or you put it in between the power section up here. So verified that I need to put diodes in first, along with putting the correct resistor in for the LED, which has been done. So now I need to put the diodes in. So I'm not 100% acute on, 100% of the electronics and bits that need to be put in. So I kind of like asked, like, what kind of diodes should I put in? Should I put a regular diode in? Should I put a Schottky diode in? Should it be a Xenier? Blah, blah, blah. So I guess it doesn't really matter as long as there's a diode in there. So I wanted to find a diode with the lowest voltage drop. So you don't have 5 volts getting dropped to like 2.1. So I got this little Bojack from Amazon, this little Bojack diode kit. So it's got regular rectifier diodes in there, and it's got Schottky diodes in there. So the lowest value Schottky diode that I got is that it's an amp, and it's good to 20 volts. So that is what we're going to put in. So first I'm going to put one in. And I'm really thinking about putting one on the positive line and one on the negative line, so there's no issues of backfeeding, because that's the problem right now, is we got a backfeed problem. So we're going to hopefully solve this right here, right now, and put a diode in. Maybe two. So with any diode, it's got a little mark on there because it's a one-way item. So on a diode, it's got a little band. See the silver band on top? So if you got electricity flowing, it's going to be flowing through this way. That's good. That's the one-way door. So when electricity tries to go this way, it goes, sorry, I'm the bouncer, you're not coming in. So let's put a diode in, because I am modifying my globe to make sure that everything works. So we're going to put the diode in right now. So for me, in this situation, like I mentioned, it doesn't really matter where you put it in. I'm going to put it in the direct power line before it gets to the buck converter, or you can put it down here. But we need to leave this flexible so it can be manhandled. So we're going to put it on the board. So on the board here, we're going to be looking for the power in. So it's easy to find on these. You just look for the ground for the motor, and it's got 3 terminals. So you got the like a U. Minecraft U, so boom, boom, boom. So we're going to be hooking a diode in right there, the terminal closest to the motor, because that's the positive wire coming in. So we'll put a little diode in there, and then we'll hook it up to the power going into the buck converter, and hopefully everything is happy and we don't have any further issues. And then after we're done here, we're going to go and hook it up to the computer to see if it communicates. So in other news with David B's InfoGlobe is, if you remember in my first video, when it first come here, and when I powered it up, the motor stalled. So the rotor would not turn. So off camera, I fixed that. I had to take the motor apart. There's a couple of little spaces in there. I kind of little tweaked it in there, and I put it back together, and it worked. It sat here for a couple of days spinning away. Well, guess what? When it went back home, it didn't spin up. It spun for a couple of seconds, and then it jammed. So David says to me, he says, it's not turning. I says, take the outside globe off and see if you can turn it by hand. And it was not very easy to turn. I says, you're going to have to take it apart. So that turned into a train wreck, but it did work. So with this little soldering gun, it's a butane one. I got to kind of watch out where I'm pointing this thing, because see that little hot spot down here? That's kind of where exhaust and hot gas come out. So I got to kind of be mindful of where I'm pointing at. So I have burned things. Okay, so we have a diode in. Now, we're going to see if there's any kind of weird or backfeed issues through the controller. So I need a USB cable. So what was happening is every time that David plugged this in, this thing would try to spin up. And that was, like I said, that was one of the issues. So right now, it is not spinning up. So that's a good sign. I do have power. So now we need to go to the Arduino program and see if we still can talk to it and upload to it and all that other good stuff. So I got just a little sketch in here, and it's nothing to run the globe, but it is a sketch to let you know that the controller is working. So we got this little thing here, and basically what I'm looking for is my other sketch here, and it's just going to tell me, hello, you entered, good day, you're in the loop. So that's what we're looking for in the serial monitor. So right now, this thing is downloading stuff, and I have my ESP8266. It is showing that it is being read. So I'm going to upload a sketch to the controller. And it has to compile it. So it has to build it and blah, 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 and all other Arduino type stuff. So now we're connecting. It has connected. It is writing. The globe is not running. Blah, blah, blah. Done uploading. And now we're going to go to Tools, Serial Monitor. And it's doing its little thing here. So just for shits and giggles, I'm going to disconnect it again and hook it back up. So this was an issue I had, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this this other sketch into it first, and then go back to the other sketch to see if it does its good day, you're in the loop thing and the serial monitor. So I'm going to get rid of that one and get rid of that serial monitor. I don't see any LEDs on or anything like that. I don't know what this does for the serial monitor on this particular sketch. It just shows a bunch of gibberish. So now we'll go back to this one and upload that. Then we'll go into the serial monitor. And then we'll unplug this. Plug it back in. And it should be doing something. And it's not. I don't know why, because I'm not a coder. It should be saying, good day, you're in the loop, and just keeps saying that. So let me try quitting this and restarting it. So for whatever reason, I can't get it to do its thing, because every time you hit the reset, you get like a little character, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So that was one of the issues that we've had. So what I want to do, I'm going to put that extra diode in on the ground side, just to eliminate any issues, because when I had this apparatus on the outside and not connected to anything, it was working. So apparently there's some kind of influence. So I'm going to put one on the ground side. And it's just one of them issues where I don't know. Because I have very little knowledge in this kind of a hack job. So now for the ground side, I'm going to be putting the diode opposite of the positive side to keep the electrons just going one way. So you're not allowed to go in any other direction. Okay, so we got that. Double diode. So now we'll see if this works again. So we'll plug this in. See, now it's advancing by itself, which it did not do before. So now I will try to upload it again to make sure that there's no corruption or anything like that in the microcontroller. So at least it's advancing, but it's not saying good day, you're in a loop. So it's probably one of them code things that, you know, I can't figure out. But it is advancing. So I think that's a good sign. I'm really not sure. But for whatever reason, it's not saying good day, you're in a loop. There it is. Good day, you're in the loop. Then it does whatever that gibberish thing is. So I think it's working. So now I got to make a little short video for David on the what's that called? WhatsApp. Because that's where we're hanging out at, is WhatsApp. So that's it for this video. So it's a little...